Good morning. So today I wanted to talk about mom shaming and judging other moms because it is a big source of feeling like an outsider or feeling lonely or feeling judged. Creates anxiety and stress, and it builds and builds and builds, and it leads to the mom burnout. We don't need this division among moms. We don't need to separate ourselves and go, well, she does that and that's the wrong thing to do. Part of it is admitting that you do it. I am just as guilty of it as anybody else. And so part of this journey is being able to admit where you're making mistakes and where maybe you're creating stress and anxiety or burnout for other moms. So me specifically, one thing that I in the past have judged other moms for was homeschooling. And it's not because I had any valid points about homeschool. I had no valid points. I knew nothing about it. But I had this sort of rhetoric and idea in my head and this narrative that I was telling myself where it was like, that's the wrong thing to do because, you know, the kids need to be in a social environment or they need to get away from their mom or whatever. And it was misinformation. I had no idea what I was talking about. So all it took for me was talking to a few moms who were homeschooling their kids and figuring out the different decisions that those moms made based on their family life, their children, their own schedules and abilities, and they made the best decision for their specific family. And after talking to those moms, this was years ago, and after talking to those moms, I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. So my misconception and my judgment and my shaming was a result of misinformation. It was a result of me thinking that everybody had the same path and journey as me and needed to make the same decisions as me, and that is not the case. And I have also been the source of mom shame and judgment as well. And it doesn't feel good. It feels horrible. It makes you feel terrible. For me, it was, I took my kids out of school for a few days last year to take them to Dubai. We lived there for 5 years, and my kids had not been back since we left. And my oldest daughter was really, struggling with connections and making friends. And a lot of the time she would say, I just want to go back to Dubai. I just want to see my friends. I want to see my friends. And I made that decision to take them out for a few days to take them to Dubai because I felt like it would be really good for my kids to go back to the place that was their home. Millie basically spent her first 4 years of her life there, and the other two kids had friends and had formed really good social networks and everything. And so the decision that I made, it wasn't like some anti-school, I don't care about their education. That's not why I did it, and that's not how I feel. I just made that decision in that instance because it was what worked for my family at the time. And some people were mad about it, and I mean, that just is what it is. So I think this is a good sort of reminder to, before you make a judgment of a mom or shame a mom for a decision, stop and ask yourself, like, is this detrimental to her children's health? Like, their liveliness, any of it? Is this detrimental to any of that? Is she really making a terrible decision? And honestly, you probably should just ask. Just ask her why she's making that decision. Because I think people would be really shocked to, find out that they made these snap judgments and shamed someone when that person made a rational decision that they thought out, and they really had all of the things out on the table and went, you know what, this is the best decision for us. So take a moment, see where maybe you're doing it to other people, and try to be the change that you want to see. And if you think that someone else is doing it to you as well, you feel like somebody else is, you're being shamed or judged because of your decision, try talking to that person. Try saying, hey, this is why I made the decision. We had these factors, and it worked for my family. It doesn't have to work for your family, but this is what works for my family. So have a good morning.